there's a definite need for volunteerism. There's a crying need for volunteerism, and anyone that can give any amount of their life to it. But I must admit, I was not a volunteer. When I was in business, I was in business. My life was like everybody else's, to get my kids through college and get the house paid for and do the things that everybody else does. But when I went into retirement, we sold out our business, I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I had gone past being a salesperson. I had taught people how to sell. I was a buyer, I was a manager, I was an owner, and I thought, what am I going to do? At any rate, and someone said, would you like to be on the board of the Tacoma Community College? And I'd driven by the Tacoma Community College a jillion times, and I never thought it was a big deal. But I said, well, I'll come in and I'll sit in on a meeting. Well, at that meeting, they had a girl there that said my life was changed because I got a scholarship and I didn't know I had no direction. I didn't know where I was going to go, and you saved my life, and I'm going on to a 4-year college now. And it was just made to order for me. I was hit, and I've been driven ever since. I thought it was such a wonderful thing to do, and I've raised a lot of money for that college. Sent a lot of kids to college that would never have an opportunity to go. To be a good fundraiser, to me, the most important ingredient is to establish a rapport with the person to whom you're telling your project about. Establishing a rapport. When one goes in to raise money, you don't go in and say, give me the money. You find out about the person. Find out if his son made a touchdown the Saturday before. Find out how he lives. It's very important for the right person to do the asking for the right person. Many times a wrong person can try to raise money, and they're not on the same level as the person from whom they are asking money. Establishing a rapport, to me, is the most important thing. I can give you an example. Going into, I remember going in for a scholarship, and I went in with one of the directors to a lady that had a business. And anyway, and when I went in, we went in together, and she said, will you do the talking? I said, sure. And I walked in, I said, I love that painting. It's gorgeous. Who did it? And the lady said, my mother did it. And you know that every time that I feel low down, I turn around in my swivel chair and I look at it, I think of my mother. I have such sweet thoughts. That picture has brought me so many happy moments. Well, I want to tell you, that was the beginning of establishing a rapport. We were on the same level. It took maybe a half an hour before we ever got to the thought of even suggesting making a contribution. She knew why I was there. Appointments are made before one goes in for a contribution. She knew why I was there, but I never even mentioned it. She brought it up. She said, I know you're here, babe, because you're raising money for scholarship. I said, yes, I am. And one thing led to another, and she made a very, very generous contribution. I think that it's so important. I'm repeating myself by saying establishing a rapport, but it is very important. You have to make the person feel comfortable that you're with, that you're not just out to get money, that you are offering an opportunity for that person to do something good for himself as well as the community. I remember clearly going on a flight to California, and it was right after there had been a Tacoma Community College event, and my husband was with me, and he said to a man who had made a statement. He was buying a family scholarship, and he'd lived in Tacoma for a lifetime. And my husband said to him, you know, I'm surprised you've lived here so long that you're making a generous contribution now for scholarships. I'm surprised you never did it before. He said, nobody ever asked me. And there's so many opportunities to have people cooperate and pitch in. Many times they don't know how to do it. Many times they feel alone and they don't have that connection with a particular organization. No one has sat down to tell them about them, what an organization does or how people can benefit. And they miss out on that opportunity. There is money to be had. It's available. But people have to be approached in a correct way on a friendly basis and not cornering somebody so that they have to give. And it's a very important thing. If they don't give, you let them off the hook very easily so that you don't have to worry about having to avoid their look the next time you see them. When you leave, if they say no to you, it's okay. You leave in a friendly way. They may not be, maybe they can't do it this year. But by establishing a good relationship, maybe next year might be a better year. And when you go back the second time, you're going to be welcome because he's going to treat you like a friend, not like someone that made him feel very uncomfortable because he didn't buy into your idea. Maybe he just couldn't afford it. If they can't say yes to everything, and if someone says no to me, I said, that's okay. I said, we can't give to everything. Keep it in mind. Maybe next year you might feel differently. But if people don't buy into your idea, it's not that they don't like it many times. Maybe they have made other commitments, and that has to be respected.